Hi ladies, these are the projects that you would have received if you ordered the packet this month for our team meeting. And also if you did my stamps in the mail for the month, this was the add-on package. So you're receiving this video if you ordered the extra amount to get that package. You would have gotten the Berry Blessing stamp set and the designer paper to go with that. The Berry Blessing stamp set and the paper to match. So those were a free celebration item, so you had to add on the $50 bundle in order to get that. Okay, so I'm going to start with, for those of you that did the team meeting, this was our mystery project. Just going to go over it really quickly for those of you that didn't get to see that. I'm not going to stamp it from scratch just because I don't think that you need to see all of that. But let me flip over here and we will get started. Okay. So this is the card, and while I was demoing, I dropped the ink pad on it, so it's sort of messed it up a little bit. But it opens like this. It locks under the strawberry, opens and opens. So you can call it a flip-flap card. I'm not really sure what the actual name for it is, but I'm going to give you some measurements. Of course, if you're getting this video, you have the packet, so you can measure those for yourself. But this red piece here is Poppy Parade, and it is 7 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4 of an inch, and it's just folded in half. The white card base is 8 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and it's scored at 5 1/2. And then of course the designer paper here is cut down 1/4 of an inch to match that. This piece I cut out of white with our So Sentimental is the bundle. It has these really cool stitch scallop dies. And so I cut the same die from this and from the designer paper with the strawberries. Okay. And then I glued the back of this red piece, and I just stuck it inside of here and basically lined up this whole piece and then just pressed it down into place. Once that was lined up nicely here, you want this centered pretty much around the whole card. And then when you go to put your strawberry on, and I didn't do that yet on this card, so I'm going to do that part here for you. I couldn't find my punch, and that's because I put it away. It was actually in my stamping stash, my stamping blocks, and I couldn't. I just didn't imagine that I put it that far away. It was like really far from the, usually the ones that I'm working with stay closer to the edge, and this one was buried pretty far back, so I just didn't expect it back that far. But it was there, put where it was supposed to be. That's okay. So I'm going to stamp the strawberry on top of the one I stamped the black outline already, and I'm just stamping now the red part of that. And I do want to wash this right away because it stains anyways, so I try to get the red especially cleaned right away. Okay, so that gives that, and then I do need to stamp the stem yet, and to do that I'm going to see where it's at here, so it's on this edge. So I want to make sure when I'm stamping this, I'm stamping it this direction, but I'm also stamping it so that it just slides right in there. Okay, so there we go. I should be able to stick that right in there. And almost. Okay. Now if I can find where it got to, right? All right, that punched out beautifully. Now I am going to stamp that in, I think I'm going to do that in Garden Green. Let me put my red away here. And instead of this little guy, now I need the solid piece, so let me just stick him away. I just need to stick my cleaner there so I can get to it. And here's the solid piece. I'm going to stamp that right on here. Let me get this down here so I can see where I'm going. Ta-da! Awesome. Okay, Now we're ready to put this together. To put these on, I do like to just put a little bit of green glue on the bottom 2 leaves here. And that just fits on the top of the strawberry like that. And then I'm ready to put a dimensional, and this is where I wanted to make sure I show you the best way to do this. I'm taking a large dimensional, and I'm going to close my card, and I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensional here, because if I put it on the strawberry, I might place it incorrectly and cover this, and I don't want that to be stuck. So, whoops, my cap's moving a little. All right. So now I can go ahead and decide where I want this to go. And I'll just press that down onto the dimensional. Okay? Excuse me. That way it's loose and can be pulled up like that. Okay? So hopefully that helps you to finish that card. I did emboss this with white powder. Depending on what sentiment, if you're going to use that sentiment, if you're going to use the black piece of paper, you will probably need to emboss it in white or silver or something that's going to show up. If you don't have white, you could use silver. And if you don't want to emboss it, you could stamp it in crafting, but you'll have to make sure it's good and wet, because the crafting tends to sink into the black a little bit. So it will give you more of a chalky look, but that's okay. All right. So that's that card. Let me get the next one. Let's do this one since we're doing fun folds. So this one is going to open like this, and I'm going to show you how that goes together. And I did add this little piece, however yours does not have that with it. This is actually a piece of the square vellum doilies, so I just cut an edge off. I did emboss it with white powder so that it would show up. I didn't have enough of those on hand, though, to put them in my kit. But if you would like to add that, you can certainly do that on your own. Okay, so these pieces, and I did not write these down, so I'm going to have to get my measuring out here. So, of course, the base card is 11 inches long. And I did want to score that for you. And it doesn't have to be scored, but the red piece does, but I've already scored that one. So I could just show you without scoring if you want to save time. However, I almost always score it when it's cut this way, because if you go to fold it, you can feel that it's resisting because the fibers are not going that direction. So I have my scoring tool here, but there's no stylus, so that's really helpful. But in cases of that, you just grab your bone folder, and this gets scored at 5.5, and then half of that is 2 3/4. Whoops, I don't even have it down here so you can see it. I moved my camera so that it can be closer to me, and then I have to remember to work closer to me. So 2 3/4 and 5.5 for the blue part. And the red card for the inside, this is a double Z fold. So this one is 9 3/4 by 3 inches. Okay, and you're going to score that at 3.5 and at 6 1/4. Okay, so 9 3/4 by 3, scored at 3.5 and 6 1/4. All right, that's all we need that for. Whoops. Okay, so let me get rid of that. Let's go ahead and fold this on the folds. And then we'll fold this one back. Just make sure that's nice and straight. And then this one, we're going to do the same thing. So for this one, this fold is going to go back, and then this one's going to come out. So again, that same Z fold. So let's get that nicely burnished. Do this side. Just making sure everything lines up perfectly straight. It should if you've scored it, but sometimes it doesn't. Now, this end and this end are exactly the same. I had to make this inside a little shorter because I wanted this to come out here further, but I didn't want this to stand up above my card. So this is the same length as this. Okay, so there you go. It will look like that. And let's see, what else? Oh, the white pieces. Hopefully I have them all cut. So let's do some stamping and then we'll start putting everything together. So I'm using Granny Apple Green. And I do have to wash this because I used the black. Okay, so I just want, that there. And if you want some more leaves down here, you can. I'm just going to put that there for now. And then we're going to do our inside. So you can put your greeting. If you want to put a leaf on there, you can. Let me see if I can just ink like one set of these leaves up. There we go. And then I'm going to change my saying here. Oh, where did I put the stamp set? All right, and that was so sweet of you. Actually, is here. And I'm going to do that in red to match. And again, I tried to stay with the same red because there are a couple different shades of red in the designer paper. But I did try to stay in with the same colors. So, hey, she didn't eat anything tonight. If you want to feed her. I had a live video tonight, and so I was the only one home. So Callie had to go to the bathroom, so I had to let her out. And I'm like, okay, I'll feed you when I'm done. But then I forgot. So, okay. All right. I still need the red. So let me lay these aside a second. We're going to stamp our strawberries quickly. And I have some scrap paper here for that. So in this case, I am just stamping the outline the same as the inside. And I think you'll like it. I think it looks cool. I like it the other way too. I like it stamped in black and then outlined, but I think that it's okay this way as well. Again, I'm looking at where my punch is. So my strawberry is here. The top of it, it's down here. So I'm going to stamp it that way so that my punch can fit in there easily. My scrap paper might be just a little bit narrow. And I need 2 of those. So I'll stamp one at each end. And then I can clean that off and put my solid one on there. And we'll do the same thing. It's a little hard to see tone on tone. Ooh, that looks like a yummy strawberry. I could eat that right now. Okay, there we go. So the strawberries are done. Let's do the caps real quick. And then, let's see, we've already got this part, so I think that I'm just going to do 2 of those, and I'm not going to do the outline because I don't think that it matters terrible much. Actually, it probably does. Never mind. I lied. I changed my mind, okay? Hopefully I can see to line this up. Let me get my head in the way here. It's really going to be hard to line this up. I should have stamped this first. Yeah, it's not lined up good. Okay, close enough for government work. I think that it'll look okay. Okay. Nice music, Brianna. Yeah. Trying to line this up because I did do it at the wrong end of my paper. So now I have to fit it in here. And this is where you grab your piece of Post-it note and you hook it onto your paper and then you slide it in so you have something to hold on to. If I can get it slid in where I cut that. Sometimes it's not good to tear it because then it doesn't want to slide into the punch. Let me do it this way. There we go. All right, line this bad boy up. still not wanting to move, right? Okay. Try not to fling that too far. And then I have to move this out of the way so I can punch here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And one more. I hope you guys do better with this than I'm doing, right? Okay, there we go. All right, let's get rid of the junk pieces and keep our good pieces, right? Okay, and one more punch. We need strawberry. And another strawberry. Okay, we got some leaves too, but we didn't need those red leaves. All right. Okay, so let's put these. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, there it is. Thought I threw my strawberry away. Okay. All right, let's get these caps on the leaves like I showed you before. Isn't that yummy looking? I just love this Poppy Parade with this. I don't know. I can't get enough of Poppy Parade with this green. So pretty. Okay. All right, so let's, I think I'm finished with these. Let me close those so we don't get ink everywhere, because I tend to do that. All right, I'm going to let them dry for a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. So first of all, before we can stick this on, we have to put our designer paper in the background on both of these. Okay, so this is going to go here. Let's just go ahead and stick that on. Oops, did not want to do that. Tore my paper. I'm going over the edge of this, and that wasn't smart to do. Okay, there we go. And you do want, these strawberries go a certain direction, so you do want to make sure that they are turned the right way. And then for this piece, I have the this gingham looking red and white. And I can't get enough of this red and white paper. I wish that you could earn this paper for free without getting another stamp set, because, excuse me, you just need more of this paper. Okay, so there's our background. Now we're ready to put this piece on. So what we're going to do is we're going to ink or glue. We're going to go ahead and glue this back piece because it glues down completely flat. So I can go ahead and put glue completely on that. I'm going to put this in here just like we did on that first card. I'm going to look at the edges, and I'm going to try to line it up so that every edge is the same. That's how I tried to cut this, so that it was even the whole way around. And that looks pretty good. Then I do want to put my designer paper in here. So I'll go ahead and lay that out nice and flat. And that will go there. So we got more scrap paper. And now we're ready to glue this piece down. And so I'm going to just put my finger right here because I know that's the edge. And I can glue into here. And I can go ahead and press that down. And now, boom, that's all you need. Okay, really quick and easy. Let's go ahead and put our front together. This piece goes on here. Oops, didn't I said, yeah, that's the way I want to do it. And then our inside greeting or sentiment. That was sweet of you. Okay. Hey, that's going together pretty nice, right? Let's get some dimensionals on these. Looks like I'm almost out of the full ones. There's two more here. Okay, and I'm just going to stick those down here together. like so. And then once more we have the greeting, and this time I am going to go ahead and emboss that for you and show you how I did that. And that's the thank you, Versamark ink. I use the Embossing Buddy. We used to carry that. If you need one, let me know. I still have a stash of them because, in my opinion, you absolutely need them when you emboss. I didn't get that very straight. I'm going to try it on the other side and see if I can do a better job. I'm going to pull it towards me here so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure if that's a lot better, but hopefully it's a little better. And get some powder on it. Yeah, it's not terrible. Okay, and I'm going to heat that. And I don't have my clipboard here that I usually heat on, but it shouldn't hurt this. Hopefully you can see it changing. Let me switch ends so that I don't burn myself. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to tab that end because I did not bring my label punch. Just need to make it cute. And I didn't get that right to the center. Okay, and then this end. Okay, there we go. And this time I'm going to use some mini dimensionals because this is very narrow. And one more. Okay, and then this is just going to go right here underneath the strawberries. Voila. And then I did, you have a roll of, if you did the class, you have a roll of cord. If you did my downline packet, you have a piece of linen thread in there. So just tie a bow, and I just put it on with a glue dot. And you can make it as long as you want. I think I put some fairly long pieces in there. And I just stuck that on here. And if you want, you could do one on each strawberry. I'm just going to do the one right now. But isn't that cute? Are those colors just gorgeous or what? I'm just so in love. Okay, so that's it for that card. Next is this card, and I just need to move some stuff out of the way here so that I can show you this. And this one is actually using the raspberries out of this. Yes, this is using the raspberries out of Berry Blessings. Okay, so we're going to switch out stamp sets here. And let me grab the leaves. And I fell in love with this card. I'm basically copying it from somebody. I can't remember where I got the idea, but yeah, I do like to copy things that I see. So what we're going to do is we're using Blackberry Bliss. Let me just fold that really quick. And then Crumb Cake as our second layer, and then we're stamping on white. Okay. So in order to do this, what we're going to start with is we're going to start with a Berry Versailles. We're going to stamp the saying first on the paper. And I see I forgot to bring my blending brush in here. That's lovely. But I do have a sponge, so I'll use that because hopefully you know how to use the blending brushes. So I'm going to ink this with Crumb Cake. but I just re-inked this because it was very dry. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be way too inky for what I want. So I'm going to waste some ink on my scrap paper here. Yes, it's very, very inky. It's probably still too inky. And then I want to just stamp this right in the center. There we go. And then I was going to take the blending brushes and then just blend it gently. So I will go ahead and use the sponge, but I think that I'm going to get rid of some color there because I really want it to be just very faint. And I'm just going to sort of dash it around, and then I'll start burnishing a little bit. And that's how you're going to use your blending brush too if you have those. You just burnish them. Okay, isn't that cool? All right, so next, let me get rid of that. You know what, while we have that, let's stamp our greeting, because that goes next. I mean, that goes in that color, so I might as well do that first. And that is Berry Blessings, or Bountiful Blessings. And grab a block here that we just used. And I'm going to stamp that full strength. That'll be nice to be a little darker. Okay. And be helpful if I clean these stamps as I go, but I hate holding you up while I clean my stamps, but I do need to use the blocks again, so. Okay. All right, so next I want to use Mossy Meadow and Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to get those out here. My table looks a mess, doesn't it? Don't mind me. I have too many things going on tonight. All right, so first we're going to do the leaves, because that's going to tell us where the berries go, all right? So I'm going to start out with the outline first, because I'm hoping that I will be able to see better if I do that. So I'm going to start that here. Let me get another one down here. And then one more right about here. Okay, so done with that. Next I'm going to do, and I need to replace this pad. Let me just show you this. You see the edges of that? That's the beginning of the end. That is a mold, I think is what they call it. And it happens to some of our inks that have red dye in them, and this one must have some. And yeah, it will harden and it will be worthless. And it's already, I'm noticing that I'm not getting good coverage. So it's time to replace. Now, of course, if you've not had it for long, they will replace it for free if it does that. But I have had mine for quite a while and have used it pretty heavily. So I probably will just have to get a new one. It doesn't happen very often. It hasn't happened to me in a long time, but I just noticed that when I opened it. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. Okay, so we're finished with that. Nice thing is I don't think it's contagious to any other pads, so hopefully not. All right, let me get the raspberry out here. I've been doing a lot of these raspberries. Working on projects for Scrap Retreat, and so having a lot of fun with this. Once again, I'm going to do the outline first because I feel like I can see better to line up the second part. So that one's going to go there. 1, 2, and let's put one right up here. All right. And I really need to have a spot to maybe have to put a rag on my lap so that I can clean my stuff without getting under my computer. All right, so I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can line this. My lighting is really terrible right now. You can see it when you get closer to it, but sometimes I just have to move up and down till I get that line of vision going. And then last but not least is this guy up here. And there we go. I just think that is so stunning. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm just so emotional about these things tonight. I'm just so happy they're turning out. It's so nice when you're on camera, and when things don't turn out, it gets very, very frustrating. So it's wonderful when things actually turn out. Now, this time I want to do a double. So hopefully I gave you enough to do that. Make sure it's long enough. Maybe practice it a little bit first and make sure you have the length that you need. And just fold them together and tie. And then make sure when you pull that you pull both pieces. Okay. And then we'll snip, and then you'll just snip the end of that. And again, a glue dot. We'll put that together. Where did I put those? And I'm going to stick that right here between where that's connecting. All right, so I probably should have put it together before I did that, but that's okay. It should be okay. Anyways. All right, this is going to go on my crumb cake piece, if I cut it right. And this piece, I will tell you, sometimes I want just a hint of color. I don't want a whole 1/8 of an inch. So I cut this piece. Well, let me just give you this base piece, or the creamy caramel, the crumb cake. Wow, where'd that come from? Blast from the past, right? Let me put it on here so you can see it. So the crumb cake piece is the basic 4 by 5 1/4. The white piece I took down 1/8 of an inch. So it would be 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so that's a new measurement if you're just getting used to the 1/4 inch change. It's a new one just if you want just a hint of another color just to set it off. And so that's what I wanted on that one. I wanted a little bit of the crumb cake just to coordinate with the crumb cake on the paper. All right, so hopefully you enjoy that one. It's a little simpler. There's not a lot of popping up, but I think it's a beautiful card. And then our next to the last project is this card. And I just love the paper. And of course, excuse me, if you've gotten this through the class, the Stamps in the Mail class, and you got the paper, I was able to do this because everybody has their pack of paper. Because it's very difficult to get enough paper to make enough projects for people. So this one I have already stamped for you. I'm not going to take the time. However, I might, the outline of this one I did in a lighter color and I didn't like it as much. So I might come in, I don't have my navy in here, but I might come in with the green and see if I can hit it well enough that it will just darken those outlines of the berries a little bit. Now I will tell you this as well. This berry stamp, these 3 blueberries come together and these 3 come together, and that was just too confining for me. So I did cut them apart and use them separately. Now, of course, if you're going to use them on here, it would be helpful if they were all together. So I am going to go ahead and line these up on here so that I can get that nice outline on them and get them all the same at the same time. So let me just do that real quick. And here, but I tell you what, it's so nice to have them apart when you are trying to add a few berries here or there and fill in. Having them all in one clump just was not very helpful. And I don't have my card here, I don't think, to show you. I did one with a basket of berries in, and I just needed them to go in lots of different places. And they were just too confining. So let's see if I can. I might be really sorry that I did this in green, but let's see how it looks. Trying to line this up so it's not, I don't want to see the green outside of that edge, but That's not terrible. It is a little terrible. But I think it shows up a little bit better. I did a terrible job lining those up. Anyways, not a smart thing to do. So don't do what I do. Do what I say. Stamp your outlines first, then stamp your berries. It's always worked for me best. Because usually your outline is darker and then you can see where you're going to stamp your next part. Does that make sense? All right, so this one is just layering, and I did put some dimensionals on here. You know, I'm going to use up these. Ooh, have some falling off here, so I'll use those. I'm just going to cut the pieces on the edge of here because I really want to use up the sheet. So we'll do it like that. Those are just some edge pieces. And that's going to go on our green piece. And you know, I probably should go ahead and glue that down first. You know what trouble I had last time once I finally... Oh no, I'm out of adhesive. Of course I didn't bring more in. Okay, well, we will use green glue. It's alright, I love green glue too. Just want to put this ribbon aside for a second. Okay, so that's going to sit on there. And let's go ahead and put this down. That's so pretty too. It's so hard to know which side to use on some of these papers. I almost wish I had used that. Oh well, already had it glued down, right? And this one I also cut down to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 because I wanted a little bit more white around there. I really wanted that to stand out. And then I do want to tie my ribbon around here before I stick this on. And I have my very last little piece of ribbon. So it's just going to be a little, probably just a little knot. This was at a premium around this place this week. So it's just going to be a knot. If you have enough, you can tie a bow. If you don't, you can tie a knot, okay? Oh, that was close. All right, and then this little guy is just going to get glued right over top of that. There we go. Quick and easy. Okay, and I will tell you the colors I used here were Mossy Meadow and Old Olive for the inside. And don't do my colors there. My colors on here were Night of Navy for the inside and then Pacific Point for the inside of the berry. Okay? And then I did the saying in Night of Navy as well. All right. Okay, last but not least, definitely not least, and I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, is this cute, adorable little box that I'm missing my tag on for some reason. But it has this little tag on it. And if you're coming to Scrapbook Retreat, you might see these again. So don't look, but at least you know how to make it. Okay, so what I did was I started off with a piece of cardstock. And I want to give you this measurement. It is a 10 3/4 inch by 4 1/4. Okay, and really quickly, I just made it to the size I needed it, and I'm not going to tell you what's going to be in it, but it scored at 1 1/4, 4 7/8, I think. Actually, it's supposed to be 4 3/4. No, I think it's supposed to be 4 7/8. It looks like it's a little off. 6 inches and then 9 1/2 inches. And then I also scored it this direction at 1 1/4 and 3 inches. So my edges are all 1 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come in here and snip out these 2 center tabs. Hoping you can see where the scores come together there. I'm just cutting 2 slots because I'm trying to get a little V out of it. You don't need to do that. You can just cut it straight on. That's fine. And then here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut in there. If you try to stay right on the line, you should be fine. And if it got cut and scored correctly, we'll be good. So everything's the same on both sides. I just want this tab, that's why I'm cutting the little bit of a V. I just want this tab to not get in the way of the box. So I'm just cutting a little bit off of it, okay? And then there. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and fold all the score lines. Fold in everything. And then the other, well, let's do this end first while we're down here. Then we'll get these sides scored. And then we'll get these sides all scored. Or not scored, but burnished. And then this end. So everything's burnished. I got some embossing powder on the table. All right, so then now what I want to do is choose one to be your base. So we're going to turn that one into a box. You can use tear and tape if you want, or you can use your green glue. I'll use tear and tape here just because it will be a lot quicker. And so I want it on the outside of these 4 little squares, okay? So I'm going to just stick this in here. I'll show you my little trick to tear that off quickly and neatly using the paper pumpkin block. Just love the straight edge on that. Makes quick and easy tearing for tear and tape, even if you're crooked. Okay, and then I just have to make sure they're pushed down and peel them off. I don't have my take your pick tools in here because I still have them out there for a project. Oh well, you'll have this, right? You gotta use your fingernails. Great, the dog's gonna go crazy. Somebody's home. Okay, so now we're ready to tuck these in, and just make sure it's standing up nice and straight. Press them together. This is sort of nice. When you use green glue, you have to sit there and hold it for a while. When you do it this way, it's done in a second. And now I'm ready to make my flat part. So we've got the box, okay? And now we're ready to do the flat part. So now we're just doing this end here. And once again, I will go ahead and put my tear and tape on here. Oops. You got to push it down first before you can pull it away. Okay. All right, so I did, if you go back to my YouTube channel, and I did a box and my snowy day Christmas projects. And I showed how I figured out how to do this size. And I thought there was some scoring problem with this, and I'm not sure why that's not coming out right, but I'm just going to trim this off a little bit. I apologize if yours does this. Okay, so that should go right down over there, and it's the perfect size for tiny little things. What do you think might go in this box? All right. Now, before we finish, we're going to embellish it a little bit. So I have a piece of designer paper here, and I have that cut at, let me just give you this measurement here quick. It is 1.5 by 3.25. Okay. And I'm out of my glue, so I'll use this. And that's just going to go right on the top. It's really a fairly easy embellished box. And then I took a strip of 1 inch of this lovely paper that I told you I love, and I'm going to actually use tear and tape on this because I want to be able to pull on it. Because what I do is I stick it in one end And I'm not doing the very back of the box. I'm just going to do this front around. So I'm going to stick it here on the side, and I'm just going to stretch it the whole way around till I get to this side. And hopefully yours is cut to size. If it's not, just trim it off like that. And then I can go ahead and put another piece of tear and tape on here and stick that down. Okay? So not difficult. And no need to score this because it's going to actually go right in place. If you're concerned that it's going to move, I'm just going to pull this up a little bit, put a dot of green glue in there, and then I can just press that down and hold that in place for a second. That way that's not going to move. And then I did, I brought this ribbon in here to use for this, but I was showing how to make a bow. It looks like I might have to glue this down. Let me put a little bit of glue in here. I think I glued that down, but since I didn't have my strippy glue, I just, we'll put some green glue in there. That's okay. I don't want to see those edges flopping out like that. I do want the ribbon around it though, because you can see how these ends, this is typical, this is how they go. And so that's why I like to put the bow around it, but I can't do that because I don't have the enough ribbon. I only have this length. So anyways, stay down there now. But then what I did was I did a circle with the stitch shape dies, because it's the circles, the rectangles, and the ovals. And then I punched a 2-inch of shaded spruce and a 2.5-inch piece of, oh, I'm so sorry, Poppy Parade. And I haven't eaten anything, so I shouldn't be burping because I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. Told my husband to bring me something home. But, and I think he said he's bringing floss nuts home, so I'm excited. But it is 9:43 as I'm taping this, so it is very late to be eating. All right, so that's my little tag. I just put those together. And then I have little raspberries cut that I'm working on cutting out. I took these to the doctor's office. And I'm actually going to have 2 little raspberries on here that I stamped with Rich Razzleberry and Poppy Parade. And I don't think I have any of the caps cut out yet. So, and then 2 of the little caps that go with it. And I'm not using the whole stem, so I'm just going to snip these off here and just cut them out. Now, there is a lot of fussy cutting with this set because no dies. The strawberry is the only one that you have dies punch for. So, but I tell you what, once you get the hang of it, I was going gangbusters on those raspberries while I was at the doctor's office with my mom. So, it's not that hard. Just don't cut the end off of it like I just did. Okay, so, and then I just add a little bit of glue right here on the base of it and stick it to the raspberry. And just look how cute they are. Goodness, aren't they adorable? All right, so that's how you're going to do it, guys. I think that is everything. I can't believe it. Okay, so have fun. Let me know if you have any questions or problems, and I will try to fix it for you. Take care.